Some months ago, I received a wonderful gift. Running a nonprofit, fundraising is always a challenge, and we were working to eliminate some residual debt incurred from a large unexpected expense a year earlier. We had $15,000 left to go, and I was anticipating a grant that we receive most years, usually for $10,000, sometimes for $12,000. Surprisingly, for the first time this particular year, they sent, you guessed it, $15,000, the precise amount necessary to become debt-free. As we encounter a Thanksgiving like none we remember, we reflect anew on the theme of gratitude. As it often does, the Thanksgiving week coincides with the Torah's first mention of this vital concept. Leah names her fourth child Yehuda, stating that this time I will thank God. The Hebrew word hoda'ah means thanks, or as the Maharal points out, admission and acknowledgement. Of course, the obvious question emerges. Why did she not thank God for her earlier children? Instead of Reuven, her firstborn should have been named Yehuda. Rashi weighs in with his classic explanation. Since there were to be 12 tribes, each of Jacob's 4 wives could rightfully anticipate progeniting 3. Now that Leah had been granted a 4th child, she saw fit to thank God, since this was a blessing to which she was not presumptively entitled. But this answer has bothered me for some time. From a basic philosophical standpoint, who is to say that we deserve anything at all? Why should Leah have expected those first 3 children? Perhaps mathematically it was logical, but are we all guaranteed an equal share in life? In fact, at the end of the day, the 3 other wives only ended up with 2 children each. So clearly the 3-child minimum was not a given. To wit, one of my favorite interpretations of the Modeh Ani prayer that we recite upon awakening each morning is that I am thanking God for the entirety of my being, for my whole ani, my me-ness. From a Jewish perspective, nothing in life, not even my very existence, is inevitable. So again, why would Leah not have been grateful for her first 3 children? This morning I was sitting in shul and meditating on this question. A local community rabbi, Rabbi Moshe Walter, entered the room, and I decided to ask him his thoughts. He opined that sometimes it takes an extraordinary kindness for us to appreciate those that we otherwise take for granted. Perhaps then, this naming represented an evolution of Leah's character. Until this point, each of the names she bestowed upon her children reflected her pain and tribulation. But now, with this 4th child, she looked back and appreciated that each of the ones prior was a great blessing. Finally, she was able to recognize blessing in the ordinary, not just the extraordinary. Rabbi Zechariah Tubi of the Kerem B'Yavneh Yeshiva in Israel arrives at the same conclusion, but through a different analysis. He argues that Leah specifically thanked God for this 4th child because childbirth had become routine. In Jewish law, an occurrence 3 times signifies continuity and permanence. Childbirth for Leah had become passé. Thus, her gratitude over this child underscores the importance of thanking God precisely when we think that goodness is coming to me. The Talmud makes a peculiar statement that whoever reads the Hallel, a prayer praising God that is recited on holidays, every day is a curser and a blasphemer. Ksav Sofer explains, the problem with saying Hallel daily is that this prayer is reserved for commemorating extraordinary miracles, hence its role in the holiday liturgy. But on a daily basis, our responsibility is to praise God for the routine, not only the miraculous. Returning to my nonprofit windfall, when I received that larger than anticipated grant, I suddenly realized that I owed thanks on the entire amount, but it took the unexpected extra portion to remind me that. Dickens once wrote, reflect on your present blessings, of which every man has many, not on your past misfortunes, of which all men have some. But long before Dickens, our people were tagged with the name Yehudim, literally, people of gratitude. At a time of pandemic and widespread discontent, it is more important than ever to remember why. Shabbat Shalom.